This video is a collection of classic creepypastas that started it all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you like it, leave a like, subscribe if you want to subscribe. Thank you. Hello, my name is Mitch. Here to tell you guys about an experience I had. I don't know if it was paranormal or whatever stupid words people use to describe supernatural phenomena, but after that thing visited me, I believe in that paranormal trash now. A week after I moved in with my brother, Edwin, after my house was foreclosed, I finished unpacking. Edwin liked the idea of me moving in, since we had not seen each other for 10 years, so I was excited too. I soon fell asleep after I moved in. After that first week, I had rustling noises coming from outside at about 1 in the morning. I thought it was a raccoon, so I ignored it and tried to fall asleep. The next morning, I told Edwin about it, and he agreed. The next night, however, I thought I heard my window opening in a loud thump, as if something was entering my room. I darted up and looked around my room, but I saw nothing. Next morning, Edwin dropped his coffee when he saw me. He held up a nearby mirror and I saw myself. I had a large gash in my left cheek. After I was rushed into the hospital, my doctor told me that I must have been sleepwalking, but he showed me something that made my blood turn cold. He lifted up my shirt to reveal a sewn up incision where my kidneys were. I stared into his eyes, mine widening. "You somehow lost your left kidneys last night," my doctor told me. "We don't know how, though. Sorry, Mitch." The next night was my breaking point. Around midnight, I woke up to see a truly horrifying sight. I was staring face to face with a creature with a black hoodie and a dark blue mask with no nose or mouth staring down at me. The thing that scared me the most was that it had no eyes, just empty black sockets. The creature also had some black substance dripping from its sockets. I grabbed a camera from nearby mantle and took a picture. Immediately after taking the shot, the creature lunged at me and tried to claw open my chest to get to my lungs. I stopped it by kicking it in the face. As I ran out of my room, I grabbed my wallet. I would need the money. I ran out of my brother's house into the night. I eventually ended up in the woods nearby Edwin's house and tripped on a rock. I fell unconscious and woke up in the hospital. My doctor, the same one that treated me before, entered the room. "I have good news for you, and bad news, Mitch." My doctor started. "The good news is you had minor injuries, and your parents are going to pick you up." I sighed with relief. "The bad news is that your brother Edwin has been killed. By something. Sorry." My parents took me back to Edwin's house to collect my remaining belongings, which I did. Upon entering my room, I was scared, but remained calm. I grabbed my camera and then stopped dead in my tracks. In the hallway leading to my room, I saw Edwin's body and something small lying next to it. I retrieved it up and entered my parents' car, not mentioning Edwin's corpse. I looked at the thing I had picked up and nearly vomited it. It was holding my stolen half-eaten kidney, with some black substance on it. Hoodie, the Hooded Man. Have you ever been influenced by clothing? I don't mean confidence by looks. Have you ever been given more control than ever by an item, or truth, or just a favorite shirt? Have you been influenced in the worst way by showing the truth? The following is taken directly from the journal entries. The entries were written by a notorious but unknown killer. He's notorious in the means that everybody has seen his work. He is unknown because nobody knows that he has done it. His origin is unusual. No troubles, no evil family, no magic or paranormal forces. His life was chosen by him, and him alone. His identity is also unknown. He will be named from here on as the Hooded Man. April 3rd, 2004. It's been really cold around here. I don't have anything really to cover myself. All I have are my t-shirts and jeans, so today I decided to get a jacket. I was just in a local store, nothing special, it's just a black hoodie with a white lining. I think it looks pretty cool, and when I tried it on, the attendant said it suits me fine. I said thanks to be polite. Common courtesies is so hard to find. So, I bought it. I haven't taken it off yet. Not only is it warm, but I can really see myself doing amazing things in it. When I look at the mirror, I smirk. I feel amazing. I can't really explain it, but I like it. I really like it. I feel the need to put my hoodie up. Something about the hood has a way of masking a person. Even though it shows their face, it hides something. Somewhere. It's really late right now. I've been feeling so great all day. Time flew around me. I'll have to explain more tomorrow. April 10th. I've had a hell of a week. I felt so great, I walked the halls like a big shot. I'm sure I looked smug. That's why Jack challenged me. He was so angry. Who never knew ignoring an insult was more insulting than responding with shrewd comments about someone's family. He antagonized me. He asked for it. He threw a hard punch and I stood. It stung harder than before when I actually argued with him. I felt so cool all week. My confidence kept me up. I punched him hard in the stomach and I lifted him up with an underhook. It felt so good. It really did. Parents calling. April 14th. Jack still isn't out of the hospital. They said he's in a lot of pain. He spit up a lot of blood, his parents told me over the phone. I reflected on it, on how great it felt when my fists connected. How his cracked scream sounded. That's good to hear, I said blankly. I don't care about Jack, I smiled at his pain. I keep staring in my mirror. I'm always wearing my favorite hoodie. It feels so empowering. My friends would laugh at me, I say. They would compare me to Spider-Man in his black suit. Spider-Man threw his power away. I don't plan on doing anything with my source of confidence. April 22nd. Jack has gone on to a better place. The words rang through my ears. He's dead. He lost too much blood. His father told me that day I visited that he was losing blood to the personal health condition. But the way his mother looked at me told me the real story. I killed him. I still remember the satisfaction of hitting him. I never wanted to kill him. I need to think about what I've done, right? That'll fix my feelings. But what is there to think about? Regret is a foolish emotion. I don't need regret. April 24th. Dad has been avoiding me lately, and Mom just tells me she loves me. They both want me to feel endless guilt, but I won't. Or rather, I can't. I can fake it for the public. But the truth is, I'm not sorry. Spider-Man's story is starting to make me think more, but why would a cursed or possessed hoodie land me in my possession? Everybody who knew Jack glares at me. Everyone who I would talk to have transferred themselves out of my class or went to a different school. Teachers don't look at me much or get onto me if I'm breaking any rules. Today, I threw a pencil at my history teacher. It hit his shoulder. He just froze for a second and continued what he was doing. Everyone either hates me and probably wants me dead, or they fear me. My writing is the only comfort I have. I can be at peace and let myself go. April 25th. They provoked me. They threatened me. I had no choice. They would have killed me. My hood protected my face. The knife naturally moved from Rob's hand to mine. I didn't mean to. April 30th. 5 days being interrogated. Sleeping in a cell. They decided I was only defending myself. I can hear Mom and Dad talking. They want me gone. They're both scared. I was an idiot to think this. jacket of mine was possessing me or changing my personality. It's just a really cool jacket. I love how it looks. I feel like such a badass. I remember how I put the hood up. I put it up when Jack challenged me. I put it up when those guys tried to kill me. I feel no remorse. I feel indifferent. I am in control. I have finally come to realize insanity. I want to kill them. All of them. I need only a push and the confidence to fight. I got it. Mom and Dad are irritating me. They all irritated me. Before we go on to the next one, that was fucking absolutely awful. This is that was a work of art. Lavender Town Syndrome. The Lavender Town Syndrome, also known as the Lavender Town Tone or Lavender Town Suicides, was a peak in suicide and illness of children between the ages of 7 to 12, shortly after the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan, back in February 27, 1996. Rumors says that these suicides and illnesses only occurred after the children playing the game reached Lavender Town, whose theme music had extremely high frequencies that studies showed that only children and young teens can hear since their ears are more sensitive. Due to the lavender tone, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide, and many more developed illnesses and afflictions. The children who committed suicide usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not act irrationally, complaining of severe headaches after listening to Lavender Town's theme. Although Lavender Town now seems differently depending on the game, this mass hysteria was caused by the first Pokemon game's release. After the Lavender Town incident, the programmers had fixed Lavender Town's theme music to be at a lower frequency, and since then, children were no longer affected by it. One video appeared in 2010 using special software to analyze the audio of Lavender Town's music. When played, the software created images of Unknown near the end of the audio. This raised a controversy since the Unknown didn't appear until Generation 2 games, Silver, Gold, and Crystal. The Unknown translation to Leave Now. There is also said to be a beta version of Lavender Town. It is said that the beta version of Pocket Monsters was released to some kids to test the games. This is the video of the beta version of Lavender Town. Dead Bart. No, Fox has a weird way of counting Simpsons episodes. They refuse to count a couple of them, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. The reason for this is a lost episode from Season 1. Finding details about this episode is difficult. No one who was working on the show at the time likes to talk about it. From what has been pieced together, the lost episode was written entirely by Matt Groening. During production of the first season, Matt started to act strangely. He was very quiet, seemed nervous and morbid. Mentioning this to anyone who was present resulted in them getting very angry and forbidding you to ever mention it to Matt. The episode's production number was 7G44. The title was Dead Bart. In addition to getting angry, asking anyone who was on the show about this will cause them to do everything they can to stop you from directly communicating with Matt Groening. At a fan event, I managed to follow him after he spoke to the crowd. Eventually, I had a chance to talk to him alone as he was leaving the building. He didn't seem upset that I followed him, probably expecting a typical encounter with an obsessive fan. When I mentioned the lost episode, though, all color drained from his eyes and face and he started trembling. When I asked him if he could tell me any details, he sounded like he was on the verge of tears. He grabbed a piece of paper, wrote something on it, and handed it to me. He begged me to never mention the episode again. The piece of paper had a website address on it. I would rather not say what it was, for reasons you'll see in a second. I entered the address into my browser and it came up to a site that was completely black, except for a line of yellow text. A download link. I click on it, and a file started downloading. Once the file was downloaded, my computer went crazy. It was the worst virus I'd ever seen. Systems restores didn't work, the entire computer had to be rebooted. Before doing this, though, I copied the file onto a CD. I tried to open it on now an empty computer, and as I suspected, there was an episode on The Simpsons on it. The episode started off like any other episode, but had very poor quality in animation. If you've seen the original animation of Some Enchanted Evening, it was similar, but less stable. The first act was fairly normal, but the way the characters acted was a little off. Homer seemed angrier. Marge seemed depressed. Lisa seemed anxious. Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. The episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip near the end of the first act. The plane was taking off. Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window in the plane and was sucked out. At the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that an animated style of the Simpsons world represented life, that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. The picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable. They took full advantage of it not having to move, and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. And one ended with a shot of Bart's corpse. When Act 2 started, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at the table crying. The crying went on, and it got more pained. It sounded more realistic, better acting than you would think possible. The animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. This crying went on for all of Act 2. Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and they walked to the cemetery. The houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned. When they got to the grave, Bart's body was just lying in the front of this tombstone, looking just like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again, eventually stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face. According to summaries, Homer tells jokes at that part, but it isn't audible in the version I saw. You can't tell what Homer is saying. The view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them, some that no one had heard of in 1989, some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates were when they would die. You can try to use the tombstones to predict the death of living Simpsons guest stars, but there's something odd about the most of the ones who haven't died yet. All the dates are listed as the same day. Hero Brian. I'd recently spawned a new world in single player Minecraft. Everything was normal at first as I began chopping down trees and crafting a workbench. I noticed something move amongst the dense fog. I have a very slow computer, so I have to play with a tiny render distance. I thought it was a cow, so I pursued it, hoping to grab some hides for our armor. It wasn't a cow, though. Looking back at me was another character with a default skin, but his eyes were empty. I saw no name pop up. And I double-checked to make sure I wasn't in multiplayer mode. He didn't stay long. He looked at me and quickly ran into the fog. I pursued out of curiosity, but he was gone. I continued on with the game, not sure what to think. As I expanded the world, I saw things that seemed out of place for a random map generator to make 2x2 tunnels in the rocks, small perfect pyramids made of sand in the ocean, and groves of trees with all their leaves cut off. I would constantly think I saw the other player in the deep fog, but never got a better look at him. I tried increasing my render distance too far whenever I thought I saw him, but it was no avail. I saved the map and went to the forums to see if anyone else had found the pseudo-player. There were none. I created my own topic telling of the man and asking if anyone had a similar experience. The post was deleted within 5 minutes. I tried again, and the topic was deleted even faster. I received a PM from a username, Herobrine, containing one word: stop. When I went back to look at Herobrine's profile, the page forward, I received an email from another user's form. He claimed the mods can read the forum user messages, so we were safer using email. The email claimed that he had seen the mystery player, too, and a small directory of other users who had seen him as well. The worlds were littered with obviously man-made features as well, and described their mystery player to have no pupils. But a month passed until I heard from my informant again. Some of the people who had encountered the mystery man had looked into the name Herobrine and found that the name to be frequently used by a Swedish gamer. After some further information gathering, it was revealed to be the brother of Notch, the game's developer. I personally emailed Notch and asked him if I had a brother. It took him a while, but he emailed me back a short message. I did, but he's no longer with us. Notch. I haven't seen the mystery man since our first encounter, and I haven't noticed any changes to the world other than my own. I was able to press print screen when I first saw him. Here's the only evidence of him.